REMC, and they got that, and if REMC ever finds out that the annexation didn't go through, they maybe have to back off and redo it, but
So that was the whole point of it?
yeah,
I mean, to get them all
they
reduced.
requested it.
Mm.
But there is no benefit for the town for the tax,
Right.
I mean, but there's some,
So it's not been a huge issue
No.
at this point.
they've asked about it, and they'd like to see it done, but,
Yeah, I think Gina mentioned that at one point to me. She asked me if I knew anything about it, and I didn't.
but it was done, but the proper agencies were not notified of the change in boundary, so.
Well, Brady could fill you in on all that, you know, whoever we went with, I mean, she knows everything happened,
Okay.
When there's duplication of parcel numbers, because Dave Wagner gave 5 acres and Joe Haskins gave 5. And I'm thinking that the south boundary of Dave's parcel description was duplicated on the south side of Joe's, or vice versa. Somehow they had duplicated boundary numbers on 2 different parcels.
But suffice to say, I mean, who says that there's definitely a problem with it, and does it have to be redone? I mean, if it doesn't have to be, if it's not gonna benefit you all, if they've got what they want.
Why should we have it redone?
Yeah, that's been our thought on it.
That's up to you
Rita
guys.
says
That's
it was
up to
not
you
done,
guys.
and it's not transferred to the town.
I mean,
So, but anyway, those are the wastewater, the annexation, possibly planning and zoning, although I don't know what a future board might feel about that, but we've been working on, the committee working on planning and zoning.
okay. And I heard about that. We talked a little bit about that when the county was doing their zoning,
Yeah,
that Odin was also thinking about that, so.
we got a lot of hours invested in it, and then it just got to the point where we weren't sure what anybody really cared or not, so.
Right.
And Ron had kind of put a bug in our ear about,
Encourage you to do it.
yes.
Oh, I left that over at the coffee house. Leanne,
Yes.
you deliver more than pizza, don't you?
Apparently yours.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, again, I would just say, I mean, I'm fairly, you don't know, but I try to be fairly pragmatic, and don't do it just because someone tells you to do it, but, you know, what's the purpose, what is the benefit to the town to doing this? We
Well, and Gina come to the meeting here a few months ago and asked me if we was gonna do it, and that may be something we can still do, as long as they wanna pay for it,
on the annexation part,
you know.
We,
I think originally, didn't they have somebody to do it that was gonna pay for it and it didn't work? They originally paid for that, didn't they?
I don't think so. They may have.
Well, that's stuff for you to answer.
Yeah, I don't know. She was telling her, man. Anyway, it didn't work. It was never finalized.
the annexation of Parkview. But we still have the issue, you may want to annex out that way.
Yeah.
And we got some to the south, we got to the east, north.
It's chopped up all around town bad,
We
but
need to
Our
square it out.
boundaries are.
Where you want to annex, or the town's boundaries is chopped up.
boundaries are just chopped
They're
up.
quite irregular right now,
Okay.
but that's down the road a ways.
Yeah.
If we can afford to do that, the chamber has, or the economic development has offered to help pay for some of that.
I'd say the main focus would be on Parkview and probably heading west out here right now. Isn't it?
But,
Yeah, and tidying up the boundaries.
But just to tidy up the boundaries for the sake of it, I mean, if you guys aren't getting more revenue, if you're just taking on headaches, I mean, that's up to you as to whether or not you.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've got businesses that are zoned county that have properties on either side of them that are city.
We only zone the unincorporated areas of the county. So we did not zone Washington or a 2-mile loop of Washington. And we did not zone Montgomery, we did not zone Odon. We did not zone Lamar. Anything that's incorporated did not get touched, essentially. But everything that's unincorporated is zoned now on the basis of this ordinance. So, yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends on as to whether or not you want to zone. I mean, what problem are you seeking to solve, or what future, you know?
Well, and it may sound improper, but the revenue, the tax revenue, the tax purposes would probably be the main thing. If we're trying to increase our tax revenue, our income, that's one of the few ways a small town can do that, is it not?
Annexation, probably not zoning. With zoning, you're just controlling, you're controlling development more so.
I think I said that by mistake. I meant annexation.
Yeah,
That's what I meant.
yeah, but that's why people do it, revenue.
The city, we don't even have Swallow's lumberyard in part of town. We're missing a big chunk right there.
If they're gonna burn, shouldn't be running after that property.
The back half is not.
The back half.
There's any number of properties, we're leaving a lot on the table that the county's getting, and I don't think they will object, but, those counties are going faster than they can ever.
But if it comes into the town, it'll just be a layer on top of the county for purposes of revenue. It's not like the county is necessarily gonna lose revenue, it's just that you all will gain revenue. And so you are gonna get some objection to that. And I know that down in Montgomery, they're gonna run into some problems down there with, because they went from like 150 acres to like 950 acres or something like that. So, I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but just looking at it, it's quite a big change. So you take in quite a bit of farm ground, and farmers can pretty easily remonstrate, what they call it.
That may be an issue for future board, and certainly not something that's pressing. We've never operated. Excuse me. Rita's has been coming to our meetings. And been there basically every meeting. Really don't need her that much at most or meeting. And you tend to ask insignificant questions when the attorney's sitting right there, and when she's not sitting in the whole meeting. So I think we can do without that. We can.
Well, and we just put in a new monitoring system, largely for the purpose of our meetings, where if we have an attorney versus having you sit here at a monthly meeting, if there's questions or something that comes up within that meeting, we can send you those audio, video, and you can take a look at them in that regard. We have a tendency to be more needy when you're here. I think everybody does. And that's to John's point. We have some very basic needs that it's kind of embarrassing, but we do have basic needs. We have all of these town ordinances that we can't effectively enforce. We're not seeing, we're asking our town employees and police department to enforce ordinance violations, and the public is basically laughing in our face because I don't think that we've generated or received more than 2 payments for all of the efforts that they're putting in. There has to be a method or a way to do that. And I know it sounds minor, but it's a big deal here. We're trying to clean the town up. We're trying to improve our downtown. There's a lot of things that are going to take place with the completion of 69. There's going to be a lot of through traffic here to Crane. So the appearance of our town is important to us, but we have no way of, hammering down on that process. And to be honest with you, we have not had any follow-through to help us get that done. And that's the kind of minuscule things that we would probably be asking